Why don't we go ahead and get started? We cannot vote on anything, but we can do it. For those of you who are attending, but you're not members and you're participants, if you have something to say or to contribute, please use the hand raising, the raise hand function, and I will recognize you to add when it's appropriate. Aaron O'Brien and Michael Arnold are here. Armold, sorry. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and Governor Healy's revised order extending remote participation, all members of the public body in this meeting of Great Barrington Affordable Housing Trust will be conducted via remote participation. Members of the public who wish to listen may do so. Follow the instructions on the top of the agenda. No in-person attendance is permitted, but every effort will be made that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. Attending tonight are members Bill Cook, Joseph Method, and myself, Fred Clark, as members remotely. Karen Viali is our guest. Carolyn is the CEO and head of Habitat for Humanity of Central Berkshires, and she's here to give us an update on a couple of the habitat projects that are moving along. Going to my agenda, basically we do not have the meeting minutes right now, and I'm getting to the point where it's starting to get frustrating, and I promise by the next meeting we will try to bring our meeting minutes up to date, but I can't do anything tonight. So I mentioned John Katz. I want to just, commend again John for his long service and wish him well there. Because John has stepped away, John's term was up at the end of the fiscal year in the end of June of 2023. We do have one opening for membership for a general member on the Affordable Housing Trust. If you have any suggestions, or if there's anyone who is listening to this who's interested, please contact me or Chris Rembold at Town Hall, or Mark Prohensky, the town manager, and we will work on the process. The workload is not difficult. It's basically once a month we meet in remote fashion. We do have one person who may be interested that that Bill's talked to, so we'll let you know how that goes. The process is that if someone's interested, we invite them to attend a meeting and tell us of their interest, and then the members agree to invite that person. The recommendation then goes to the town manager to put it on the select board agenda, and at the next meeting of the select board, generally the person is voted on and accepted. So if you know anybody, have them come attend a meeting. Okay, moving on. Carolyn, I think we can go ahead and talk about the habitat projects. So I'll turn the floor over to you. We're most interested to hear about the engineering for North Plain Road and for the developments on Grove Street.
Great, thank you. Bill, could you let Erin be a participant so she can share some pictures of Gulf Road?
Yeah, Fred, I think you have to do that. Fred.
Okay, Fred, thanks. So let's start with the Housatonic project. We talked to Brent White. He has been in communication with Chris Rumbold, and Chris has suggested that he get some additional information on the plans to be able to bring it to the planning board. before it goes to RFP. So the scheduled date for that now is July 15th, which is just 3 weeks away. And then we'll have a comment period where Habitat, the Affordable Land Trust, and Affordable Housing Trust, and the town of Great Barrington can ask questions or do any other review things or suggestions. So I think we're moving along with that, with the goal of being able to get the request for proposals out and start getting bids back in. We've been talking about the fact that the RFP will be coming down the pike sometime in the summer. So we're alerting a lot of the people that we know that do these size projects so that they're already starting to think about what are they going to need to do to comply with that. So that's the most up-to-date information I have on the engineering side. And then on the habitat side, we've been reviewing plans and signing off on some 1,200 square foot 3-bedroom units that are 2 stories. As soon as we have the site plan, we're going to figure out which ones are going to go where. And then we have a couple more reviews on two different ranches. And then we need one more 2-story 3-bedroom that we want, because there are no 4 bedrooms slated right now in the first phase. So hopefully that'll be all done. Our new construction guy's working on some final budget numbers. So that should be happening again about this July 15th time. He sent me some new stuff last night, but I sent it back because he had one too many bathrooms. So, and now Aaron's going to share how beautiful Grove Street is after you guys ask any questions about North Plain Road.
Carolyn, we're interested in, obviously, since we're down here in the town, we're interested in the community outreach program and the plan for getting the word out, for continuing the good initiative that you started last year to let people know that the project's coming forward, that we are making progress, that it isn't just stalled. So if you could talk about that for a minute or two.
Sure. As soon as we actually have I'm going to say a little bit more of the fine tuning on the site and the house plans, Erin, when she gets back from vacation after the first week of July, will start her whole marketing campaign. And then we're also bringing on a new hire that's going to be able to be in the field and to assist me. So we'll start having some more community meetings. And right now we have over 70 people that are interested in home ownership in Great Barrington. So what we'll be doing is hosting orientations and everything, both for Gulf Road and for North Plain Road, so that we can get a really good idea on what people are looking for in house design and things like that. So we'll have at least one meeting in August, and then we'll probably have one each month moving forward until Christmas. And then we'll take January off more than likely because of weather. And we might end up either taking December off or January off, either one. But we plan on doing in-person stuff. So we're working out where might be good places. One of the places we know is the library in Great Barrington. It's got that new community space. So we think that one of the places we would have is there. And we already are well known there because of our VITA program. So we're kind of excited to get back in the field and start having chit chats and whatnot. And then Erin, as soon as we have stuff, she'll send it to Bill so that he can post it on your guys' website as well. Am I still on?
Yes, hold on a second. I think Bill has a question.
Oh, okay. He's muted.
Actually, no, I was just talking to Garfield he's trying to log in, but he's having some trouble.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Well, that's good. You know, like I say, we want to keep the momentum up. I think that we've got a good start, and you know, I hope that once we have the documents and the RFP and put it out to bid and have signed a contractor, that we can start talking about the next phase beyond the infrastructure of getting some houses built. Hopefully in
Right.
24.
Well, definitely in 24, because we need to do that. But one of the things we're hoping to do is once the infrastructure contractors are chosen, we'll be working with them to see if we can correlate the foundations for the houses going in at the same time, again, to kind of be not as disruptive, but also to get houses on the ground as soon as possible, because we'd like to have the first houses sort of be like a model home so people can walk through and see it, just like you would if, you know, you and I were going to buy a home. So that's the goal that we have.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm getting that, like, it's actually going to happen very soon feeling. So I'm hoping I'm right.
Yeah.
Well, great. Are there any other questions about the North Plain Road site? Aaron, you're up. You need to share your screen.
Yes, she does.
Let's see. I have to make her a co-host, Bill, or?
Probably. I'm not sure.
It says I'm disabled.
Well, I'm going to make you a co-host,
Okay.
and that should, I've already done it. Hopefully that works. Try that again. You should be able to
Yeah,
share
there
your
you go.
screen now.
Okay.
So can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Wow, it looks fantastic.
Yeah. So
See all the detail here in the porch, the way
Mhm.
they've recreated
Oh,
and this
you
area.
know, I've always liked this house, and the location is fabulous.
and you'll see that there's a new side porch with a landing, which was different than what they had before. They rebuilt out and put in French drains for the back so that there won't be any water issues. And then all of that stone and stuff will also make it better for drainage in the area. And we're having, we actually have a volunteer that's going to come in and help put in tiger lilies and hostas and something else. Hopefully that's going to happen in the next week or so. But the hope, what I've been told by construction is that this will be done by June 30 so that we can get into getting it sold.
That's not very long far at all. So is this, how many bedrooms did you end up with?
So this is 3 bedrooms, and then we added, it's a 3-bedroom, and then on the first floor we added a half bath and a laundry area, and redid the whole interior of the kitchen. They actually had it blocked off when Erin was there. She couldn't get any internal pictures because they're redoing some work on the floors and the staircases and stuff. But yeah, it's really cute. Everybody that's been volunteering on their remarks about it all the time. It's very nice and very thoughtfully laid out so that people will have a good quality of life once they're in there. And the vibe in the building itself, when you go in, is just amazing. I mean, you could just feel all the laughter that's happened there. And we've had a lot of very nice groups that have come in and helped build with us. And the Taconic carpentry students from Pittsfield have gone down several times to work on it so that they are getting some more practical knowledge on what it is to do a rehab on an existing older home, because sometimes they don't get something as historically significant as this. So it's been a great learning process. The one thing that hasn't been great is how much the extra charges because of COVID and whatnot has been. But
yeah.
Well, that's a good segue into our next kind of issue there, I guess. Unless you have more, Aaron, do you have more?
No, that's it.
That's fabulous. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, this is Grove Street is a dead-end street off of Bridge Street, walking distance to the co-op in the Riverfront Park and down in that way. And this little house is actually next to a little Vesprocket Park too, which makes it really nice. It's a great location and a great little house. And so it's wonderful.
Garfield has joined by phone. If you want to, and we can
good.
actually vote on something.
good job, Bill.
Yeah.
Hi, Garfield. If you can hear me, we've got you on the phone.
But you're muted. There you
How
go.
about now?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
you're on.
All right.
All right. So at
Sorry about that.
6:53, we have a quorum. Garfield Reed has joined our meeting, and so we now have an official quorum. We were just looking at the Habitat's Grove Street house. They are just about done with their rehab, and they have a process in place to award the house through a lottery. The person will still have to pay money for it. I
Yeah.
believe around $250,000, but the
Mhm.
house is appraised for quite a bit more than that. If it were on the open market and not on the affordable housing list. So I think it's
That
gonna,
house we looked at way back when on Grove Street, huh? That looked quite
Yeah.
nasty.
yes. Aaron, if you're still there, can you,
Well, he's on a phone, so he won't be able to see it anyhow.
oh, you won't be able to see it. Never mind. Forget it.
Okay.
I
Maybe
will send you
Aaron,
some
you can send it
images.
to Garfield.
I can send it to him, yes.
That'd be
That'd be
great. And there is an issue with the approval of the house by Carolyn, can you just pick it up? Because I'm not really sure about the
DHCD.
details.
Sure, I'm happy to do that. So the Department of Housing and Community Development changed their name. So now they're requiring everybody to change all of our documents to reflect their new name, which is not a big deal, just a pain. But the bigger thing was, due to the interest rates and the time that it's taken for them to approve a marketing plan so that we can actually go to sell it in the lottery, the interest rates have gone up to the point where it's now saying, in order to make the 70% affordable average median income that we were shooting for on this house, it would mean that we have to cut our purchase price by $47,000, which would bring it down to a sales price of $203,000. And that would be before grants and their mortgage and everything. But the bottom line is that's a $47,000 hit that Habitat would have to take if we were to stick with that plan. So what we're asking is, we would like to be able to go up to 100%. And what that means is it would not go on the subsidized housing inventory. We would withdraw our local action unit request, and we would be able to start the lottery immediately using the same lottery plan that we have, so that everybody still gets, equal opportunity to apply and all of that, use the same methodology. The only difference is we would not have to wait for DHCD to approve it, and we would go back to the sales price of $250. And even at that, we're still taking a hit that's pretty substantial.
So I've checked with Chris Rembold and the town manager about the legalities of making this change. And we can go ahead and do this, but it's my opinion, I think Bill agrees, that we need to have a vote in order to do this. So just to give you a little history or context, when we put the RFP out, we used language that said that the affordability had to be no more than 100% of the AMI. Habitat came in and they made a proposal to go with a lower AMI, 60 or 70%, I believe.
70.
And we accepted it based on that proposal. So I think in order to change from a 70% AMI to 100% AMI, we would need to have a vote accepting that change, since we did accept it, but it was not part of the original RFP. The second part of that is there is something called the Community Affordability Register, which basically the state maintains a register of affordable houses. And Great Barrington is required to have a certain number. Well, all communities, required is not quite the right word, but they're required to have a 10% or more affordability. And when Carolyn asked if the town wanted this on the register. We said, yeah, sure, we'd love to have it on the register. And so she's been preparing to have it on the register. That's the glitch right now, is in order to get it on the affordability register, it would have to take Habitat would have to take a significant cost cut, which I believe is unfair, since given all the work they've put into it. The town says it would be nice to have, I mean, the town today said it would be nice to have it on the affordability, but it's not a requirement. Because of Windrush, because of Bentley Apartments, because of some of the other large projects that have gone forward, Great Barrington is comfortably over the threshold for affordable housing. And so we don't really need this one house to bring us to that level. We're already there. So what I'd like to do is propose that the Affordable Housing Trust accept the proposal to remove the requirement that the house be added to the state affordable index, and to accept the proposal that the affordability will be no more than 100% AMI. So can I think I'll make a proposal and call it, the chair proposes that. And if I can get a second, please.
I second it.
Second by Bill. Any discussion? Anybody want to?
Yes. What does this all mean to us as far as we want to go before? What, I'm not quite sure which initial group is CBC, CPC or not, or CPA for monies in the future. Are they going to say, "Whoa, you guys did this and you stepped out of this, and now we're not going to give you"? That's one of my concerns.
Okay.
That's
CPC people weren't really involved in this house. This house we acquired because the town took it for taxes. The town took it, for taxes, basically.
Yeah, there's no CPA money involved.
There's no CPA money whatsoever involved. And my feeling is that this meets the spirit and the letter of the original RFP that we put out.
I'm all for it. I just don't know how, sometimes people, as we've gone and asked for monies before, and they want, the floor plan, everything else, if you will, down. So are they going to look at this and say, we don't like the way you handled this future or whatever? And or what happens if Habitat had to take the $47,000 cut? Would they still have the house? Would they still work with us? What's that?
Well, I'd rather have them not have to take a cut, because we'd like to encourage them to maybe work with us again on a project like this.
Yeah. No, okay. I'm just
I really think that the
overall,
Habitats, part of it was the pandemic. And the construction materials just going way crazy. Things that couldn't be anticipated. Now,
I'm okay with it.
mortgage rates have gone from 3% to 6%. I want this to be a success for Habitat, as Bill said.
So do I.
I think they've done an outstanding job. We don't know exactly how much this house would be worth if we were on the open market, and it isn't on the open market. It's going to be restricted in going forward, but we think it'd be something over 400,000 easily.
Easy.
For a completely rebuilt, energy efficient house. And if this proposal is accepted to change, the sale price will be $250,000.
Yeah.
Plus, the people can qualify for grants, and I have some more information about that I can share later in the evening.
Down payment assistance grant. Yeah.
Mhm.
Are there any other comments, Joe?
Yeah, so I think my feeling is I would be really interested to hear what Ananda would say if she was here. So I'm not really comfortable on voting on it this week.
Well,
So Yeah, so I think as things stand, I would be a nay. But it's not like a strong feeling, it's just,
What was your objection?
I haven't had enough time to think about it. I think in general, like, so I understand the sort of this idea of you want to have a maintain a good relationship, but if this was on the private market, if we were hiring a private contractor and they had a given and we awarded them the bid and they came back and said, you know, we want to change a fundamental aspect of it because we're going to lose money, you would probably say, sorry. So that's
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah, look at it.
We
Well,
would
no,
ask them
because-
to document what the assumptions were that they made.
yeah.
This has happened in private practice. Where
Well,
at the end of the day, you have to be fair.
yeah, we did not ask them to do it for a set price. We said, make it affordable. We're not losing anything by
So
letting them, you know, recoup some of their money.
I don't feel like super strongly about it. What I'm hearing, and I wasn't there, what I'm hearing is that we accepted an RFP on the basis of, ooh, this is the good one because they are 70%. So that means that potentially there was another candidate who lost out because they weren't willing to go to 70%.
It wasn't,
Okay.
let me just say, we had criteria to accept or to evaluate each of the RFPs. We had 2 responses. And the other candidate, in my view, my personal view, was unresponsive in a lot of ways. They didn't come up with any kind of a proposal for renovation of the project. They just basically said, well, we're going to do it and my uncle's a contractor and he'll help out. So there were a lot of other criteria that Habitat was chosen on.
This wasn't one of them.
And this, not really. We said, that's great. We really only want it to be affordable, but you know, if you can make it more affordable, that's wonderful. I will tell you that I had thought and considered another option. And that is, if Habitat is required to stay at the level that would sell the house and keep it on the affordability index and lose $50,000, we have sufficient funds that we could, if this board decided to and voted for it, give Habitat an additional $50,000 subsidy. So to make them whole, basically. I think that's a little clumsier.
Yeah,
I
and we
think
don't,
that's not necessary.
well, the fact that we don't need this house in order to get the 10% that the town has been asked to provide by the state. I don't see any reason to hold them to 70%.
And Joe, we kind of need to vote tonight because we don't have another meeting for a month, and this is critical for getting the legal documents aligned. They're in negotiations with the DCH, Department of Public Housing, right now. If we can vote tonight, Carolyn can begin to schedule the lottery and get, you know, they need to have a person who, or family that is committed to this house, and get them in their service and training and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
I think it's time critical. So.
Okay.
I asked that one question when Joe's done.
Yeah, go ahead.
What would did we need this house before this onslaught or onrush of the other housing? Or, so is this kind of like now we don't need you, so we'll go ahead and do whatever you want to do thing? Or was it part of the plan that was needed for the 10% in Great Barrington?
It wasn't part of
Understand
the
the question,
plan.
I guess.
I
Sorry,
don't think I don't think we needed it to meet the 10% affordability index. I think we're way over that at this point.
We are way
Right,
over.
no,
We're
at
about
this point, but I
15.
mean, when we first negotiated for this house to take it over and do what we do, was it in that 10% needed?
No, the RFP went out saying they could go up to 100% of area median income, which would put it out of the affordability index.
Okay.
That was our initial request.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
The discussion basically went, as Carolyn began working with it, she said, hey, I think that I think that it's going to be better than we hoped for. And if it is, we can get it on the affordability list. And we said, that's great, wonderful. But we never required it. And, we don't think it's critical for making this house an asset to Great Barrington.
Okay.
So is there any other discussion? Hearing none, this will be a roll call vote. To remind you, we are voting on a proposal to allow the house to go to 100% AMI affordability, and to also remove the requirement that it needs to be listed on the state's affordability register. So a yes vote will make those changes, a no vote will not. So roll call vote. Bill Cook.
Yes.
Joseph Method.
Nay.
Garfield Reed.
Yes.
And Fred Clark, yes. So the motion carries 3-1. Thank you, anybody. And I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Are you going to have an open house? Can we get our members to come down and take a look sometime? And
yes, not only do we want to have an open house, but we sort of, we had a quote unquote groundbreaking when people first came in for the neighborhood. So we want to do the same thing and have an event in the backyard and have people be able to go through it and see it, as well as inviting people that have already expressed interest to go through at the same time. So for all of those out there that are watching, we are going to be looking for some additional volunteers to help us screen through the applicants and get them ready to get into the equal opportunity lottery. So if you have any interest in doing that, if you're good with math and details, reach out to us at 413-442-3181. I almost gave my cell, extension 6.
Okay,
Thank you very much. All right, so we'll see you all on site soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank
Thank you.
I enjoy the night.
Thanks.
Looking forward to the others. Speaking of open houses, Carol Bosco Bowman asked me to confirm email addresses for all of our members and has told me that she will be sending an invitation to all of us for the ribbon cutting for the Windrush project, which I believe is 10 a.m. Friday, June 30th on site.
Mhm.
So look for that in your email box.
Okay.
I will plan on going. I don't know if anybody else. Speaking of updates, I want to get back to our updates. The CDC went through and had closing on the Sumner block. It was in the Eagles
Mhm.
that
Yeah,
we're
it's
going forward. Let's see. I wanted to recognize Bill's contribution this week. I'm going to share my screen very briefly here. If I can find which one I'm looking for, the program description. This is from our website. For those of you who haven't been on the website very recently, I'm quite proud of it. I think Bill should be quite proud of it. I'm very pleased with it. I think it's fun. What I want to call your attention to is that the median family income level adjusted every year. So about halfway down, if you can see this image in Garfield, I apologize that you can't see it, but I can send it to you. What it basically is for the down payment assistance for qualified home buyers, the income limits have increased, and the limits for two-person family is $81,200. A four-person family is now over $100,000, $101,000. Those are family limits. So if they're living in the house, they have to contribute. But we are going to distribute this to all of the mortgage companies and mortgage providers that we worked in the past, and let them know that there are new limits and that the people who may not be qualified previously can now qualify. So if you have any comments on that, that'd be fine.
Yeah, I do. Do we have
Yes.
one of those things where we can put something maybe in the shopper's guide, even when if you didn't qualify before, you may now, kind of thing? So don't hesitate or try again.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
Good idea. I will send you this, Garfield, so that you are aware of what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
if you like.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll share with you guys, and before we can get into the other part here, is I was asked to attend a seminar last Thursday, which is why I couldn't be with you, that was sponsored by Adams Community Bank. Adams Community Bank bought Lee, I'm sorry, Lenox Savings Bank, and they're doing a lot more down here in the summer in the Southern County. They had the Federal Home Loan Bank come out and talk about the programs. And if you can see this on your screen right now, the Federal Home Loan Bank has 3 programs that are available here in Boston. I'm sorry, in Berkshire County, for mostly first-time home buyers. Let me get down to here. These programs give actual grant money that start at $25,000 and go up to $50,000. And the money is available to not only those who make less than 80% AMI, but also they have a workforce program that goes up to 120% of AMI. These abbreviations are their 3 programs that they're talking about. The $50,000 is a program that's specifically called the Lift Up program for first-time home buyers for people of color, and it will go to 100% AFI. The interesting thing is that the borrower, there only needs to be one person in the family who qualifies as a person of color, and they can be mixed race, they can be whatever, however, because they ask people to self-certify that they qualify as a person of color, and they don't check. And they're not going to do a DNA or whatnot. But that program has $50,000 for first-time homebuyers. So there are some exciting programs that are going on, and I just wanted to make you aware of this. The program, the money can be used for purchasing, for down payments, for closing costs, that sort of thing. So I'll just.
We should add this to our website.
Yes, I will send you this PowerPoint.
And put something out, because you could combine $50,000 from them with 25 from us. You'd almost have enough for a down payment on a house in Great Barrington.
Well, yeah.
75,000.
Yeah. I don't know. It's automatic that you get this money. You have to apply for it, and it's up to 50,000, and
but still,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it is pretty exciting to see all of the things that are happening out there. The other program that you may also have seen in the paper is Smitty Pignatelli had a member earmark approved where he got money that will be used for closing costs for first-time home buyers in all of the communities that Smitty serves, including Dalton, not Pittsfield, but all of the South County, and Construct is administering that. The program awards $2,500 for closing costs. So that's another one that's pretty interesting. Williamstown and Lenox were there, as well as Great Barrington Affordable Housing Trust, and their programs are similar to ours, largely because I think when Bill started this program, he went to them and said, "Hey, what do you do?" And we got the documents from them. Our program's different in that we're a zero interest loan. Those 2 programs have forgivability after 5 years. However, Williamstown is only $10,000 and Lenox is, no, the other way around. Williamstown is $15,000 and Lenox is a $10,000 grant. I got to tell you, if you're buying a house in Lenox, $10,000 isn't going to make a heck of a lot of difference in your affordability. So I was thinking of coming to this board and asking if we could change our down payment assistance from a loan to a forgivable amount. But I've had a change. I've thought about that a little bit longer, and I think that it's just fine the way it is, because we do up to $25,000 and we do down payment assistance. So if you're trying to get in a house, the money that our program provides is that last dollar that helps you meet your down payment assistance. And I think it's perfectly fine to keep it as a loan. So.
How does everyone else feel about that?
Bill, you're muted.
I said, I think it's fine as a loan as well. It gets something coming back into the trust. It is taxpayer money.
So no changes.
That'd be my inclination.
I get glare on my screen. I'm going to close the shade. If you don't mind, I suppose I could blur the background, but I can also do that.
I don't think that helped.
Well, I'll do the other one.
There you go.
2 windows in my office. Ananda couldn't be here tonight. She's not feeling well. We had hoped that she would be here to present the
ADU project.
yes. I gotta go back here to this one, change that to there. This is the worksheet that you guys looked at for your meeting. So I think what we'll do is maybe put something in writing and plan on doing this in a future meeting.
Yeah.
Because I'm not familiar with this, and
Yeah.
she says that we're almost ready to vote on it, and that there needs to be a little bit more review by town council.
Yes, that's about right. I'd have to go back and dig through everything to give any kind of presentation, which I wasn't thinking about having to do tonight. But we sort of all agreed on the basic terms of proposal, the program. And there were some questions that town council has to figure out for us. So maybe next time we'll have those have answers to that.
I don't have much more for this group tonight. I do think that starting the new fiscal year, we need to have a better idea or a better plan of where we want to spend money. We actually have quite a bit this year.
Yeah, I do have a question, Fred, before we
Yeah,
wrap
sure.
up. What are we fixing to do with the money that we're getting? That was it, $250,000?
Good question. I had made a couple of proposals previously. We had thought that we would be able to use some of it, reserve some of it for down payment assistance. We have generally supported the rental assistance program in the tune of about $50,000. But I don't know if we're going to keep doing that going forward. And I'd be interested in hearing opinions about that. Maybe we need to get Construct to tell us a little more too.
I'd like to explore that a little.
We
Yeah.
are still looking at the Mahawi Pope Street site. We had talked about $140,000 purchase for that property, and CDC is still interested in partnering with us on that. There was a project that part of the money that we have put aside, and certainly the money that you and others from thank you very much, by the way, Garfield, for supporting our funding, and you and Lee and others, voting for funding for the Affordable Housing Trust. One of the things that we learned in the last couple of years was having that cash available from the town, mostly in this case, the ARPA money, was allowed the town to step in at a very short notice and to provide assistance for the purchase of Windflower first, and then later what turned out to be the Sumner block. And there was a project that came up within the last couple weeks where there were 3 two-family townhouses, duplexes on Rossiter Street, sort of behind the Flying Church, that area.
Yeah.
A historically Black, a historically affordable neighborhood that came up for sale, and I talked to CDC about it. CDC actually had initiated the request and asked if the Housing Trust would be interested in supporting the purchase of those buildings. To me, it was a very high priority because of the nature of where they were. And I told her that while I couldn't guarantee a commitment from the Housing Trust without a vote from the members, I would propose to the membership that we provide $250,000, $200,000 or $250,000 towards the purchase of those. Largely because they are so historically important as affordable housing in the downtown Great Barrington. And they were on the verge of being taken out of the inventory. I was familiar with the numbers. The project is now sold for $825,000. And if I do, and by the way, they needed about, not a lot of money in it, but anything you do these days costs money. So I was told they needed bathrooms and kitchens. You figure 6 apartments, a bathroom and a kitchen each, $25,000 each, $50,000 each building, each apartment. You rapidly get to $300,000. So I used $300,000 as the working number for repairs. And the project was asked for $825,000. Keep in mind, this sold 3 years ago, $400,000 before the pandemic. All 3 of these buildings sold for $400,000, and they haven't put much into them. Anyway, I came up with a back of the napkins hand scratching that if you were going to keep them affordable, that the purchase price needed to be no more than $525, and right now it's $825. And it just, as it turned out, CDC was not comfortable with that. This is a very long-winded explanation of saying we have money so that if the next one of these shows up, we can very quickly act and jump in and not have to wait for a year and a half to get funded.
I have a couple things, Fred, if I could. One is being a black man, I would certainly like to see, I don't know if that makes me biased, I guess it does, and I would have to recuse myself, if you will, but I think it's important and it's historic. I think it would look good for us and the town that it does go somewhere where we can, if you will, manipulate the terms and have it the way that we'd like it to be instead of someone else, perhaps. And also my other question, which is a little off that, would we still be effective if we went back to just funding for homes as what we kind of started out to be, opposed to assisting?
You know, I think that the community is still is switched a lot. Windrush is going to bring a lot of units on board. The Bentley Apartments has, 45 units in it. And I think that there's a need for homes. The downside is it really costs a lot of money. So
I've been having some preliminary conversations with Smitty about, how our CPA funding is the only funding we can use to buy something outright without having to issue an RFP. I've asked him to look into changing that so that any money at all from any source that comes into a housing trust can be used to purchase property without going through 30B, which means that the town money we get so that we could actually start buying up foreclosed houses and stuff like that when they come on the market, because they don't last. They're gone in a couple of days. And if you don't move on it quickly, they go to developers.
in the case of the Rossiter Street, the owner approached CDC and their financial people before putting it on the market. So
Yeah.
sometimes we can get wind of a project before it hits the real estate.
Mhm.
I think he had an interest in not paying a real estate commission, but
Yeah,
be that as it may, he still gave us a first look.
First refusal.
So your idea, Garfield, is to go back to buying and building homes?
My idea was would we still be effective doing that? So if we're not going to be an effective trust, then I don't see that being necessary. But I believe that's the mantra, for the lack of a better term at the time, for us was to do affordable houses, homes is what we wanted to do. Am
Yeah,
I wrong in that or no?
no, we did agree to.
I
do-
could be wrong. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, I think at some point early on, we decided to focus on home ownership because Construct and CDC basically focused on rental housing.
Right, exactly. Well, that's kind of what brought that on, because everybody else, their brothers, seem to be a lot of players out there, and
Yeah.
but again, if it would make us not be as effective and helpful to the town, then I would say no. But that's the premise of
Yeah.
affordable housing trust fund.
Yeah, I think nobody else is really focusing on home ownership as much as we are.
Can we focus more, or are we right now? Because it seems like are we? Maybe
Oh,
we
yeah.
are. Yes.
That's all we've got.
Yeah, this is true.
Grove Street and North Plain are all home ownership.
Well, we need to
Yeah.
revive the down payment program, and so we need to put some resources into getting the word out on that
Yeah.
one.
We can advertise,
Um,
and I think tying it into this federal home loan bank money is a good idea. It gives it a lot of leverage.
Leverage is good.
Yeah, I mean, instead of
Now-
$25,000, you get 75,000 to put down.
In the end of the day, we are basically a granting agency, a monetary granting agency. We don't have the resources or the ability, well, the resources to basically develop and manage projects. I think that the North Plain Road project has been a learning curve for us in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things that we would have done differently had we known. And the fact that it takes 6 or 8 years to build out and get houses on the ground with people in them means that, even though there's going to be eventually 20 houses added to the housing inventory, the amount of effort, time, work, the length of time it takes is just proportionately too long in some ways.
Yeah. These things take time.
Having said that, if we could find another site of 10 acres that is on a sewer line and a water line, and on a bus route, I would be all in favor of.
Yeah,
So-
then you woke up, Fred.
Mm.
Yep.
That's a dream.
Well, they've got to be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Joe, do you have anything you want to add?
Not myself, no.
For
What
this,
what should we be focusing on? What would you like to see us do?
we should focus on most bang per buck. That's what we should be focusing on. So we should be figuring out how to provide units of housing, either rental or home ownership, and it should be as how much can we leverage our money.
Mhm.
I agree with you because, we can't buy somebody a house and give it to them. But what's the delta between affordability and cost? And that maybe is the sweet spot that we need to be in on.
Sure.
If a house costs 400 and people can afford 250, how much leverage do you need? How much money can you get them to help make that bridge? So
Mhm.
I think Bill's idea that we don't have to do it all, but we can serve as an educational conduit for things like the Federal Home Loan Bank is a good one. So
Can you send me that stuff from the Federal Home Loan Bank, Fred?
I will.
I'll
I will.
see if I can work it
It
into
might
the
be my
website.
first blog post.
There you go.
I think that we should work on these issues. I would entertain ideas from any members or any other people as to what we're going to be talking about. One final thing I'll
Are we
mention.
having a joint meeting at some point with the home or the subcommittee, housing subcommittee? Did we not think of that? Or
Aren't you on the housing
something
subcommittee?
like that. I'm sorry. Yes, I am.
Oh, good.
Tell them we're happy to meet anytime.
Okay. I just think. Well, my thing always is, and maybe I'm a little too broad-minded on it, but we have a bunch of people trying to do the same thing. Maybe we could, either.
When does the housing
same page.
subcommittee meet?
I'd have to check. We just met not too long ago. Actually, we met May 30th. I think the next one is coming up soon. You'll have to check with Lee, exactly.
Okay.
Well, I'm not available this Friday, but I can come any other time.
Yeah, I can usually make a meeting.
I'm sorry, Bill?
I can usually make a meeting.
Okay. All right. Let me talk to Lee. She's
Yeah.
the boss, and we'll see what she wants to do. All right. Excellent. Oh, we need to know when our next meeting is before we sign off, right?
Yeah, but before that, I just want to say we have been invited, or I have been invited, and anyone else who would like to come along to meet with the CPC committee and I believe their August meeting. What I'd like to do is talk to, and they're interested mostly in how we've spent their money in the past. What's still outstanding? Are we hoarding any of their money? Things like that.
Are they hoarding it? They want to police us? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, they do, yes. But the point is, we want to meet with them and talk in general terms about what we're planning on doing, and do it outside of a application cycle. Sometimes just to meet during the application cycle feels less collaborative and more adversarial. And I'm encouraged to sit down and have a frank discussion about what we can do. So the other thing I'll tell you is I'm working with the town, Ellen Lair, who is the town's public relations consultant, about coming up with a press release about all of the wonderful things that the town has put money into, and all of the other things that the town has done for affordable housing. So we're going to try to put something together, because I don't think people are aware of all of the things that are going on and can be done. So that's something that I'm working on in the background.
We should also be sure and mention to them how much money our initial investment in the North Plain Road property has generated in terms of state funding and all of that.
Yeah,
we will do that. Good idea.
How many units are there across from the elderly homes down there, South Street?
I think it was 49.
Somewhere's around there.
I thought it was 49. Okay.
All
right.
That's in my head. But
49. I think sounded right. Yeah. Okay, I didn't remember. So.
I don't have anything more for you this evening. We'll devote the next meeting to talking about the ADU program. The next meeting is scheduled for July 18th. Please let me know if you're on vacation or away.
I'll be away. I'll be away that day.
Yeah, well,
Don't get what you said, but you know.
I know, I know. I hope it's someplace nice.
Yeah.
And good luck with the Relay for Life, by the way. Is that
Thank
this
you.
weekend?
Thank you. Yes, this is this weekend. Yeah, 24th. Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I know you've been involved with that for a long time. So
I have. Not to if anybody's feeling generous, we accept money right up to into August. So don't be shy. If you know it's a great cause. Hey, there's a lot of people you know have cancer, and I am one of those humans that you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd just like to mention that if you can, you can. If you don't, you and I'd love to have people come up to it and really see what it's about. There's a car show up there. There's the health mobile is going to be up there. There's a chance to win $2,500 on a golf ball drop. You invest $5.
this on
The
Saturday?
Luminarious. Yeah, this Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just all games.
I have to go to
all
a
kinds
family
of
thing
stuff.
in Cummington, but maybe we can stop by.
Yeah, we'll be there 10 a.m. to 10 at night. But
Wow.
yeah. And I was speaking of, just to go off that for a second, I'm not going to be around from August 8th to the 24th of August, so I might miss an August meeting.
Come on, you can always call in from wherever you are.
Yeah, right. I could.
All right, well,
Thanks for
good.
letting
I'm
you
glad
know
you
that.
came. I'm glad you joined us tonight.
Yes, me too. I love it.
I don't have anything more. Is there anything more from any members?
Well, just so we don't have a date yet.
Oh, July 18th is the date that we.
Right. So I won't be here. Okay.
But you're not going to be here, so maybe
okay, that's all right.
maybe we need to look at a different date. Also, we're
Back by
down
the
one
19th.
member, so John Katz, Garfield, I think it happened before you joined us. John Katz has had some health issues and has decided not to be reappointed. And I'm really grateful for John's, participation since he was a founding member.
Yeah, I miss him. I miss his thoughtfulness. He seems to have his hand in the pie anyway, doesn't he? It's one of the alphabets there.
Yes, and we will need to find another member or ask the town manager to find us another member. So if you know anybody who would be interested, let us know.
Oh, absolutely. All right. I have to be connected with the town. It can be a regular citizen that might want to have some interest. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. I might ask around. Yeah. Thanks.
So Garfield, when are you available in August? You're not available from the 8th to the 24th, did you say?
That's correct.
Okay. So let's see. Oh, okay. So, but July 18th.
July 18th, I'll actually be in Maine.
Okay.
August, I'll be in Arizona.
Is
Oh, I loved Arizona.
is there a different date when are you available for July?
I can do. I'm back I can be back in time for a meeting on the 19th. I thought I might hang out a little bit, but if necessary, we need 19th is a Wednesday. I'm not sure I have a calendar in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm okay for skipping a meeting too at some point.
Well, we do want to get the ADU report. Is Wednesday available for the rest of us? I think it's available.
Yeah, I don't have a life. I do anything.
Oops. July. Yeah, I got nothing on July 19th, so I can do that.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Wednesday's fine.
Why don't we make it Wednesday the 19th?
Yeah, I'll see. I'll check about the Zoom, but yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just
Promise, Garfield. Now we're doing it for you, so you better promise you can be there.
What? You're breaking up a little. What was that?
Convenient breakup.
Breakdown. Yeah. Exactly.
All right,
right.
I'd like to wrap up this meeting. Is there anybody
Okay.
else? Joe, you had some comments or?
No, just that there's a Berkshire Edge article by Carol Owens, and it's like it's about affordable housing and says
Not much to it.
how
It
much
really doesn't say much.
it's strange, but it tries to say something at the end, and it's about, and it's like don't talk about ADU, but it's also based. It seems to have like a lot of questionable premises, and anyways, so
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna write an email in my private capacity, a letter. So.
I was excited to see the headline in the Edge this morning that
Yeah,
said
me too.
solutions to affordable housing. But when I read the article, it was a little thin on an actual,
Solution.
yeah.
It's just reporters, man. They're not pros. So housing and stuff. I'm just being a little facetious, but we
Yeah.
could probably write a better article regarding this stuff than they could. So,
Well, Fred's going to start writing a blog now, so
all right, there you go, Frederick.
All right, without objection, I.
Hold on, did you have
call
some
this-
media time and citizen speak?
Yeah, media
Covered?
time. No, none. There's nobody on the phone, by the way. There's nobody
Right.
here. Eileen had a conflict.
Yeah.
Citizen time, there are no citizens. Without objection, 7:49, call the meeting, and good night, everybody.
good night. Thanks, Fred.
Thanks, Fred.